So let's have a look at creating a GitHub Codespaces for our GitHub Pages repository. It's a bit complicated, that, isn't it? But this is my GitHub Pages repository, and it is the code that runs robsall.com. This is my website, and just got a little bit of info about me, links to my blog page. And then we've got our projects here. So you see at the bottom here, DBHX. This one is below everything else for the moment. So this repository just has everything to do with that website. And one thing I can do is I can make a change. I could even do it in the browser. I could make a change. I could commit it. GitHub Pages would run, make that change. But we're going to use Codespaces. So we go up to this green button here, and we can pick up Codespaces. And if you just click create Codespace on main, it's going to go through create container and enable you to, it'll load your code into it, enable you to be able to develop your code. So we'll click on this one. Just going to connect to an already running Codespace. So it shouldn't take too long to come. So now we're in a situation where, just like having Visual Studio Code, we can just run this wherever we like. We can make our changes and everything would be fine. Except we wouldn't be able to see what the changes were like before we could start running. Now, I have written a blog post last year about running my GitHub pages in a container and doing everything locally. But here we're running straight into the browser. So how can we make that change? If we do a Control-Shift-P and then start typing Codespaces, it says add development container configuration files. Yes, please. And then you've got a choice. You can pick any type of thing that your project works for, or we could just click on show all definitions. And then I've got a Jekyll one here. I click on Jekyll. I've got two choices, Bullseye and Buster. And that depends on the operating system that we're going to use. Now, I use Windows and occasionally Ubuntu, so I'm going to stick with Bullseye. If you're using Apple, you might choose Buster. Or choose the LTS for the version of our Node.js. And straight away, we can see that down at the bottom, it says, oh, hang on, you've changed something. So we could just rebuild your container right now. Oh yeah, that would be great. But actually, I'm going to do a little bit more first. This is our dev container file. We've got some good comments. I like comments. I can go off and click on the link and find out how to use this file. We've got our arguments that we added in for our Docker file. We didn't realize it was the Docker file at the time, but here they are. So we've got a variant type of Bullseye, and we've got our Node version of LTS. And you can see it tells us what would you like. Gives a bit of information about what we want. And then forwarding ports. So we can expose our application, this point Jekyll that's running inside our container so we can see it outside. And then a post create command. That's interesting. So that means that we can then run a script that's going to run after our containers have been created. Our Docker file just has a little bit of information. You can see here that it's taking in our choices for our OS version and for our Node version, and then doing the right thing. And then we've got our post create script, and that's going to install our bundler and get the right packages that we've got located for our website. But I'm going to take it another step further. So normally, once you've done this, you would then have to run Jekyll serve. So we would have Jekyll serve, and that would then start the website and load the project and display it. And if we try to run that, for some reason with my website, it moans and says that I need to do a bundle exec beforehand. It'd be better if we type bundle correctly. A bundle exec beforehand. And I'm going to add in -- force polling. So just at the bottom of this file, I've just made sure I've got bundle space exec. That's going to reload the bundle, and then Jekyll serve to start the website, and force polling. Check what's going on, and if need be, rebuild the website when you see a change to a file. Now, important thing to notice here. Down at the bottom, we've got our line endings, and it should be LF. Because if it's not LF, then it will fail on your Windows machine if you try and run it locally in Visual Studio Code. So we'll just make sure that that's correct. And we saw that we got rid of a button that said, hey, your configuration's changed. Do you want me to rebuild the container? So we're going to force that with Control Shift and P. And I'm going to say rebuild. There we go. Codespace rebuild container. Yes, please. And it comes in and it says, hey, if we do this, then actually we're going to rebuild everything, but your code and your current changes are preserved. Excellent. So it's just our development environment that we're updating here. So let's hit rebuild, and then we get our code space being set up, and this time it is going to take a little bit longer to run. So it says I found the image, and now I'm going to start building the container, and it gives you a chance to look at the logs. We're going to start our logs and see what is going on. So it's creating our container, it's cleaning up the images from the last run. And it will be downloading locally the Jekyll version from the Docker file. And it's extracting all of those files, all of those layers. And then once it's done that, start the container up. Now this seems to take a little bit of time, but remember, once your code space is up and running, if you use it and then you finish using it, you just stop it, then all it needs to do is just start the container up again, and all of this work is already done for you. So there we are. It's installing Node, making sure everything's run. And the beauty of this, I think, is that your development environment, no matter what project you're using, we're using GitHub Spaces here, no matter what project you're using, it'll just be updated. And you remember that we had at the end a post create script. Here's our post create script. It's actually open there, and now it says that it's started to run this, and it says, look, if you would like to see the full logs, do Control Shift and P, view the creation logs. Okay, so Control Shift P, we'll do a view creation log, and that's going to start to open our logs. And we'll also see that down here, oh, just missed it. Down at the bottom, it said your application is already running. We've got these ports. We see 4000's got a blue dot. Let's put that up there. There we go. So our port 4000 is running, and you can see that what we're running is force polling with a Jekyll serve. And I can click on this link, open the browser. That's now going to run the web page from the container. So it looks exactly the same, except for the top, where you can see we've got a different address. We come down to the bottom. There we go. Our projects are the other way around. Well, maybe we want to have the projects in a different order. So we'll have a look, find our data and index and our projects. There's DBHX. So we'll just cut that, and you know what? Let's just put it up at the top. It's the most important project for today. We're going to put DBHX up at the top. And you can see, as the file is saved, down at the bottom, we're already regenerating our web page. I don't even have to think about it. It's just done. Every time I make a change, if I do a space and a delete and a save, there we go. It starts regenerating again. I come back to here, refresh the web page. The website's been rebuilt, and now there we go. DBHX has been moved up to the top. And if I like that, and I think, yeah, that's what I would like it to look like, then I can come back to here. Just some source control, and I've done two lots of things, haven't I? So let's add all of these changes, and then remove the project, and we'll say added dev containers for ease of development. and spell it wrong. And then we'll have our projects. And we'll put on here. So yeah, so that checkers is higher in the list. There we go. We've made our changes, and now I can sync those changes just like I'm running in Visual Studio Code. And if I have a look at, let's find our repo, have a look at our repo, and now we'll see that our new deployment is running. Our new commit has hit the repository because we've synced it, and that our GitHub action is running. It's just running there, and we click on that. It says I'm still running. Click on the details. There we are. Now it's going to build everything, do the various checks that are required. And then once it has done all of those, we are just reporting our build status, do our deploy to GitHub Pages. Now that's deployed. And if we actually come to the real website, therobsall.com, and we'll control refresh that, come down to the bottom, and now we've finished. So we have made a change in our Codespaces with our project running in our dev container. So in this case, it's a website. As soon as it was updated, the website rebuilt, we could validate that it looked as we wanted it to, just by going to this URL that was given to us. It's just a forwarded point. And once we'd done that, we committed our changes, GitHub Actions did its thing, and our change was deployed to live. Excellent.